Welcome to The Explainer. So, in just 1 month, a conflict with Iran has absolutely exploded into a global crisis. And its effects are being felt everywhere, from these really tense diplomatic meetings all the way to the pain you might be feeling right now at the gas pump. Today, we're going to break down how we got here and where this all might be headed. For millions of people, this isn't just some distant headline. It is a painful daily reality. This quote from an American driver, wow, it just powerfully captures that immediate, personal cost of the conflict, right? It's forcing people to make these truly impossible choices. And here's exactly why. I mean, look at these numbers. Gas prices have just shot up to their highest point in 3 years. We're talking a national average over $4 a gallon. And if you're in a state like California, it's pushing $6. That's a jump of more than $1.30 in some places, just since this whole thing started. So, what is the direct cause of all this economic pain? Well, the entire crisis, believe it or not, traces back to one single critical waterway. The Strait of Hormuz. Think of it as a vital artery for the entire global economy. And right now, it's the epicenter of this military conflict. Iran's blockade has turned it into a choke point, and that's effectively put a stranglehold on a huge portion of the world's oil, not to mention food and medical supplies. And on the ground, things are escalating fast. This is not a proxy war. We're talking direct military action. We're seeing US B-52s flying deep into Iran. We're seeing the use of these massive 2,000-pound bunker-busting bombs. A third American aircraft carrier is on its way to the region. And at the same time, Iran is using drones to hit commercial ships. The risk of somebody making a mistake here is just incredibly high. Meanwhile, the diplomatic front is just as shaky. You have President Trump threatening to completely obliterate Iran's civilian infrastructure, but at the same time, he's pushing European allies to be the ones to go in and secure the strait. And that's a job they've been pretty reluctant to take on so far. And this thing is no longer just a US-Iran fight, not at all. The shockwaves are now spreading out, and they're starting to destabilize the entire Middle East. The war is now creating multiple dangerous new fronts. Over in Iraq, an American journalist has been kidnapped by a militia backed by Iran. In Saudi Arabia, we're hearing threats against American companies. And then, up north, Israel has announced a full-scale invasion of southern Lebanon to fight Hezbollah, a move that has already displaced hundreds of thousands of people. And this brings us to what is easily the most alarming part of this war. I mean, beyond all the military and economic costs, we are watching a humanitarian catastrophe unfold, and it's getting worse by the day. 70,000 metric tons of food. Just try to picture that. That's how much is just stuck out at sea right now. So this blockade, it's not just stopping oil, it's stopping life-saving food from reaching some of the world's most vulnerable people. And that spillover effect from the wider conflict? Well, it's ignited a massive crisis in Lebanon. We're talking about over 1 million people already forced from their homes. It's completely overwhelming the country and its aid agencies. The global ripple effect is just staggering. The World Food Program is now predicting that because of this disruption, an additional 45 million people worldwide could be pushed to the brink of famine-like conditions. That is the devastating human cost of this conflict. So, with this whole crisis just spiraling out of control, the White House has announced we are now entering what it is calling the most decisive phase of the war. And for the very first time, we have a name. The president revealed that talks are happening with a faction they're describing as much more moderate. It's led by the Speaker of the Iranian parliament. This is a huge, high-stakes attempt to find some kind of diplomatic off-ramp before it's just too late. But man, the path to de-escalation is treacherous. Military analysts have laid out at least 5 tripwires that could plunge the whole region into a much, much wider war. And we are perilously close to several of them right now, including what might be the most dangerous one of all, the complete collapse of these diplomatic talks. So this is it, right? This is the central question that's hanging over absolutely everything. Because the alternative to finding a diplomatic solution, well, it's a path that experts are warning could lead to an almost unthinkable outcome. And really, that's the bottom line. According to one retired Army colonel, a failure in diplomacy doesn't just mean more fighting. It could trigger a humanitarian disaster on a scale we literally have not seen in the 21st century. With millions of people already on the brink, the real question isn't just what comes next, but whether a path away from total catastrophe can still be found.